We are recording. Wait, are you good?
No, we're fine. We're fine.
Okay, we're recording, folks. This is Robert C. Foley and Jackie Foley.
Hello.
We are co-hosts here at the Pink Think. I'm the host of this meeting, but we're kind of in this together. So what are we doing today, Jackie?
Today, we are going to be taking the political compass test and seeing where we stand and then comparing those results.
Okay, so let's share the screen. And then Jackie's doing it on her phone.
Yes, indeed.
So are you on your phone right now?
I am on my phone. I'm bringing up the test as we speak.
Let me put this down here. Some of these we'll kind of skim through and some of them we'll talk about deeply.
Okay.
Some of them are just really no-brainers. Some of them are more think about.
All right. So are we starting?
Yep. So answer the first question. Let me read it. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than interests of transnational corporations. So answer, I already know my answers. I want to kind of make it so it's not tainted. So you answer first.
I did. I was going to say, should I be saying what my answers are or?
Absolutely. Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
I would say strongly agree.
Yep, me too. I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong.
Disagree, because I would not support my country if it was wrong.
Yeah, and you guys can see my answer. I strongly disagree. So let's talk about that for a minute. So what made you answer that, basically? And I know it's pretty much a no-brainer, but.
Because I would never support something that I knew was wrong, even if it was my country. I know that the USA is not perfect and it can make mistakes and do bad things.
Look at the Iraq War, for example. Look at things like that. Look at the Vietnam War. Some might even say the bombing of Hiroshima was a mistake. Let's go back to share screen.
Yep.
No one chooses his or her country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it.
I'm saying disagree. I don't think it's foolish to be prideful in your country, even if you were born there.
Yeah, I would say agree just because, I mean, it's foolish to just like your country just because you were born there, basically. But I'm not going to strongly agree because I think you can be proud of your country.
I just don't think that's what it's asking. So that's not why. I would agree with you with what you're saying, but I don't think that's the question. So that's why I'm not putting that.
Our race has many. Okay, this is a no-brainer.
Strongly disagree.
Both of us, because that's racist as hell.
That's just racist.
Yeah. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Not always, I would say. Disagree.
Yeah, me too. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified.
I would say disagree.
Yeah, strongly disagree for me. There's a now worrying fusion of information and entertainment.
That one's hard for me. I'm going to say somewhat agree.
Okay. I'm going to say strongly disagree. This is why. For as long as I remember, there's been information and entertainment. Now, can it go overboard with like certain, crazy radio hosts? You know who I'm talking about.
We're not going to name any, of course.
But. Yeah, but Alex. Anyway, yeah, it can. But look at Stephen Colbert. Look at Trevor Noah. That's an information and entertainment collaboration. But yeah, I understand where people are coming from that it could be a concern, but I just don't agree with that.
Yeah, that's valid.
Let's go back to the political compass.
Next page.
Next page. People are ultimately divided more by class than nationality. Strongly agree for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Basically, there's a strong divide. People who are very rich have all the power. The minority is ruling the majority. That's the way it's always been. That was the way it was in apartheid, but with in its country, that's how it works. And I think that when people of different races and nationalities get together, I think they can really get along if they just understand each other, basically.
Of course.
But it's harder for me to get along with someone who's just ruling over me.
Asshole.
Yeah, basically. So let's go to share screen again. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Interesting question.
I was going to say, I'm having some trouble with how to answer this because I do believe that controlling inflation is important because I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all that. But I think we do need to I would say disagree as well, but not strongly disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment. They require regulation. I think
strongly agree.
Strongly agree with that, because now what sort of steps should we take to do that? You know it. Starts with a G.
Oh, the Green New Deal.
You know it. AOC, Green New Deal, Ed Markey, Green New Deal. So let's go back to share screen. Hate when it makes that beeping sound. From each according to his ability to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea.
I would agree with that.
Me too. Strongly. The freer the market, the freer the people.
Disagree. I don't think that's a fundamental rule.
Me too. I strongly disagree, because when did we have the most free market? That was back before child labor, paid time off.
Yep.
You know, all this stuff before
all the regulations that made sure people wouldn't die at work and stuff.
Yeah. And if we don't have that, then we have a completely free, laissez-faire market. I believe that would lead to the destruction of society. Let's go back to share screen. Political compass. Okay. It is a sad reflection that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product. Before we answer that question.
You have.
I came prepared.
I knew you would.
I not disagree. I strongly agree.
I would say strongly agree as well.
I would make water more of a right than it is right now. Look at Flint. Look at places like that. I would make bottled water cheaper, government owned. That's just what
Nestle is doing. God.
Nestle? What's Nestle?
Or maybe I don't know if it's Nestle, the same company, but there's this company that's been exploiting the sources of water and taking them away from, oh my God, wherever they are. I would need to do some more Googling into that, but I just know I've heard about it.
Oh, that's interesting. Let me go back to share screen and then answer the question. Oh, you're looking at the next one?
Yeah. Next one.
Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. I actually disagree with that.
Me too, actually.
I know that makes me a bad lefty, but I'm not a communist. So, but basically, why do I just disagree and not strongly disagree? Reason being, I think there should be some rules and regulations on how much land someone can own, how much, power someone can have, and how, like, the pricing. I believe in fair housing and stuff like that.
Of course.
That's why I just disagree, but not strongly. So let's share the screen. It is regrettable that many fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society.
Strongly agree.
Me too. The stock market, people just invest. They just inherit. We need a high estate tax for very high earners, maybe even a cap, I would say, so that people work for their money and they don't just sit on their butt and do nothing. So let's go back to share screen. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. I strongly agree. I believe in tariffs. What do you?
Protectionism as in putting the needs of your country first? Yeah,
and like putting tariffs and stuff, basically.
Yeah, I agree, but not strongly agree.
Okay.
I'm ambivalent on the issue.
The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders.
Strongly disagree.
Me too. And this is a funny question. The rich are too highly taxed.
Strongly disagree.
That's a stupid question. Yeah. But strongly disagree, at least in this country. Wait, whoops. What am I doing? Share screen. Am I still recording? Yes, I am. Okay, thank God. So strongly disagree with me. Because let's talk about that. Let's go more in depth. What do you think the corporate tax rate was under Obama before Trump? Trump got into office.
40%.
35.
35. I was very close.
What do you think the Trump tax cut lowered it to?
20.
21. So you're close again. Guess what Joe Biden wants to raise it to?
40.
I wish. I really wish. 30? 28. Come on, Joe,
Come on, Joe.
Pick up the pace. Let's go back to share screen. But is that a good idea though, to get it up? Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's not high enough. Yeah. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care.
Strongly disagree.
Me too. Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public.
Agree.
A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. To create monopolies. Strongly agree. Monopolies are bad, folks.
Right.
If you want a real free market, every man for himself. That's what a real free market is.
Mm-hmm.
So, but some people would say if we did have a real free market, which I don't agree with a completely free market at all, but if we did, that would eventually happen. But I think still that would be going against its principles. But I agree that would eventually happen. So let's go to share screen.
Mm-hmm.
I keep
next
saying
page.
that So now we're on the next page. Page 3. Abortion when the woman's life is not threatened should always be illegal. I strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree.
Here's why. Women need abortion sometimes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they get pregnant and they don't want it.
And in the place where they can take care of it. And
exactly.
They shouldn't have to be like in danger of losing their life to be able to get an abortion. Like if they don't want their life to be ruined because of a baby or to be shamed by their peers or to be put in an uncomfortable financial situation, they shouldn't be forced to carry that baby to term.
Yeah, that just comes down to liberty for me. You know?
Autonomy over your own body.
Yeah. Let's go to share screen again. All authority should be questioned.
Agree.
Me too. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Strongly disagree.
Make sure, you're answering these obviously too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making
sure. I'm saying them before you. So
okay. I mean you're putting them on your page and everything. Good. I can't see it, but yeah, because it's too bright. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis.
Disagree.
Me too. I mean, what about the museums? What about, all the
The Smithsonian, the Museum of Natural History, collections of our history. Should we just forget that because it isn't profitable?
Yeah. No, I think that's a public good.
It is. Public right.
Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory.
No, I agree.
Me too. That was one where I was expecting to actually disagree with you on, but interesting.
No, but we're the same.
You know what compulsory means, right?
Yes, like
mandatory. Yeah, okay. I didn't at first. I had to look that up because I was like, that's a weird word. Isn't that a weird word?
It is. It comes from compulsion, like to compel someone to do someone.
Yeah.
Compel someone to do something. Compulse is not a word. Go on.
Although obsessive compulsion, I don't know.
There's a compulsion, but there is like to compel, I think is where it comes from. So.
All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us, different sorts of people, to keep their own kind. Strongly disagree. You got to talk to people of different backgrounds, even talk to people of different beliefs.
Yeah.
Basically, because you got to understand other people. You got to treat other people with respect.
Yep. You can't just stay in an echo chamber with only people of your own kind.
You can't stay in your own, we can't just stay in our own liberal, safe space, so to say. And we got to talk to people of other.
Word.
Yeah. Interesting word. Many meanings. But echo chamber, I really like that. I'm dying over here.
You are, yeah. Drink some more water.
Well, luckily, if I have more money, I can pay for higher access of medical care.
True.
Shouldn't be. Anyway, let's go back to share screen.
Yep.
I was choking there.
You were.
Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Strongly disagree.
Disagree, yeah. Very strongly disagree, actually.
I don't believe in
disciplining children with force and violence.
I think that teaches them that violence is okay. And I'm a very anti-violence, anti-war kind of guy. Mm-hmm. So let's go back to the political compass. It is natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. I agree. And possessing marijuana should not be a criminal offense.
Agree.
For personal use. So let's talk about that a little bit. What do we know about marijuana compared to alcohol and tobacco?
It's about the same danger level or less.
I would say less, a lot less. Yeah. And what do we know about this country? What do we know about what this country should be about and what people, when the first thing they think about when they think of America?
Liberty, freedom.
Exactly. And that comes down to liberty. Are we saying there shouldn't be any rules and that you should be able to be 12 years old smoking pot in a movie theater?
No, we're not libertarians.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But for whatever is it, I think people say maybe 25 is a good age, or 21. You know, people should be able to do what they want. So let's go back to share screen. Also, you can't do it while you're driving a car, obviously.
No.
And there have been states that have been legalizing it. I think this was interesting. I think it's called not the CARE, but there's some act that Kamala Harris actually proposed that is in the House, I believe. MORE Act. And it's about marijuana. And it's interesting because Kamala Harris used to oppose it, but now I guess she's shifted, which is really nice. Because she was criticized harshly on the debate stage for that. But let's go back to share screen. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs.
Disagree.
Me too. It's also to educate you. It's to give you tools to know stuff. And is that part of it? Yeah, I think so. But there are people who don't go to school. This comes back to like should school be mandatory? There are people who don't go to school who get jobs and live a good life with good jobs, like people who clean out porta potties. But let's go back to share screen. People with, okay, this is a kind of a fascist question, by the way. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. I strongly disagree with that. Eugenics. That is eugenics. And I think everyone should be allowed to reproduce as long as they're of age and they're consenting. So basically, yeah, I don't agree with that at all. Let's go back to share screen again. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. Strongly disagree. There are no savage and civilized people. There are only different cultures.
Strongly agree.
Strongly agree with that. Yeah, I think that there are just different cultures. If you look back in time, I mean, there's been, like in the past, people have been more, you know, what do you call it? Uncivilized. But really, it's just back then, it was a different culture. And I don't like, and that gets into like, when you say that, it gets into kind of like a xenophobic or racist kind of sentiment. Because it's like, oh, people in this country that are less civilized. Yeah. So I don't really like that.
No, it's not good wording.
Yeah. So let's go back to, I'm not going to say it again because I say it too much. I'm just going to do it and not say, let's go back to sharing the screen.
No, you're fine.
Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support.
I disagree.
Me too. I used to agree. When I answered it like even a month ago, I actually agreed. But then I listened to someone talk about it and he said basically, what about UBI? It's basically universal income. Basic income. And I support that. So I'm like, wait. And that's then also, what that is. What if they can work, but they're just not, they can physically work, but they're just not in the mental ability to work and they just need to take a break. Maybe they're depressed. Maybe they have some other mental issue and they can't work. I mean, they can, but they can't, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. It wouldn't be good for them to work.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing in this society. You're always expected to push yourself past your limits if you are able to do something, even if it would be a bad strain on your mental health. If you can do it, you're expected to do it.
It's kind of what that Karl Marx quote is about a little bit from earlier.
Yeah.
From each according to his ability.
And to each according to his need.
And I would say that's a little out of date. I would say from each according to their ability, but that's besides the point. Back then, it was just his, because know. But yeah, let's go back to the compass and go to the next question. When you are troubled, it is better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things.
I disagree. I don't think that's always true.
No, I don't. I strongly disagree. Yeah. First, immigrants can never be fully integrated within the new country. I strongly disagree. This is why. There's plenty of people, and like some people are like, oh, if you come here, that's fine. Just learn the language. I don't agree with that. I mean, is it nicer? I mean, is it more,
Is it easier to be able to operate in a new country when you know the language? Yes.
Yeah. And is it like, if, is it, I guess, I know this sounds weird, but like better for the people in the country because then they can talk to you, I guess. But you shouldn't have to.
But it isn't about them.
Yeah, it's about the people who are coming to the country. And they can. There's plenty of people who are first generation immigrants. And plus, what about people from like, because the main people that people think about is like people from Asia, people from Mexico, you don't think about people from Sweden.
Yeah.
Or Canada.
It's a very race-related thing when people talk about immigrants and not being able to integrate.
Yeah, like, why aren't we building a border wall in Canada? I don't believe in a border wall at all, though. I believe in kind of more of an open border kind of system. So let's go to share screen, political compass. Okay. Keeps making the beep beep sound. I don't know if you can hear that.
I can't. Don't worry.
Okay. What's good for the...
Yeah, this one made me laugh.
What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. Strongly disagree. Corporations cut corners. They lay off workers. So is it better to lay off workers and not pay them as much for the corporation? Yeah. Is that better for the people? No. Because they're getting screwed. They're not getting paid a decent wage. Yeah. $15. Fight for 15, by the way.
15.
But yeah, no, I strongly disagree with that. That's just stupid. Honestly, that's just stupid. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding.
Disagree.
Me too. I believe in public funding. I think that's a good thing. Page 4. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism.
Agree.
Me too. Look at the NSA. Look at the Patriot Act.
The Patriot Act. I hate the Patriot Act.
Me too. I mean, yeah, it's kind of, bad. And they're cracking down on terrorism. You know what kind of terrorism I think we're not cracking down on enough? But also, I mean, some people... Wait, I think I couldn't hear you for a second. Can you talk again?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, sorry. I was just worried that it was cutting out again. Basically, guys, we had problems earlier. It wasn't...
A lot of problems.
But we fixed them. But, you know what kind of terrorism people aren't talking about enough?
Domestic terrorism?
Domestic terrorism and specifically like white nationalist terrorism.
Yeah.
That's been a big thing. But do I believe in like let's just look at everybody and just see if they're a terrorist? No, I believe in probable cause. I believe in a search warrant and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
So let's move on. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system.
Strongly disagree.
I think we have to have a battle of ideas, basically.
Absolutely. To be able to be in a truly free country and be able
to actually progress. Because then what if whatever the one party says is true? That's just fascism, basically.
Exactly. Like, look at all the European countries. They're not more effective or more free or more representative in their democracies because they have less parties. It's because they have more parties. And more parties with the ability to have power in their...
Yeah, and even people are critical of the two-party system in this country.
Yeah.
Because there's a Libertarian Party, there's a Green Party, there's all these different parties that represent more people, I would say, in certain interests, but people are forced to vote for two parties. Let's go to, although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried.
Strongly disagree.
Have you heard of cases of people who worked... I don't know if this is how true this is, but I've heard of cases of people who worked at the NSA who actually spied on their exes.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? I mean, they just...
It's not surprising in the slightest.
Yeah. So let's go back to the compass.
Yep.
The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes.
I would disagree.
Yeah. Mainly just because I don't believe in it as a principle. I don't believe in killing people. I believe in having people live with their crime, live with what you've done and reflect on it. Don't just die. I mean, but also 4% of the cases from what I heard, they're innocent.
Yeah.
Innocent people being put to death.
That's a big reason why. Yeah.
Going back to the compass, we see the next question, which is, in a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded.
Disagree. Strongly disagree.
Yeah. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything at all shouldn't be considered art at all.
No, strongly disagree.
Me too. I mean, art is art.
Art is whatever
Anything
you make
can
of
be
it.
art. Yeah.
Anything can be art.
In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah, that's the problem with our system. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals.
Disagree.
I actually agree. So that's a point of disagreement. Why do I not strongly disagree? So why do I not strongly agree?
Yeah, why do you say that?
Just because I still believe in the principle of rehabilitation, but like, what about Jeffrey Dahmer? What about like some of those serial killers, serial rapists?
That's
like
true.
You can't really rehabilitate them. But do I agree in like some people can be rehabilitated? Yeah, most people.
I agree.
I think
those
absolutely
that those people are horrible, but also I don't agree on a fundamental level.
Yeah.
That we should classify anyone as a waste of time to try to like.
Yeah.
Help them get better.
Valid. Oh, you say that. I'm going to start saying that now.
I'm going to get you.
The person and the manufacturer, or the business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. I strongly disagree. I don't think anyone's more important than anyone else. This is kind of a sexist question. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers.
Strongly disagree.
So some women don't want to be mothers. That's the first point. And when they do, they can have careers, but
yeah.
I mean, sometimes they're stay-at-home dads.
Exactly.
There's not always stay-at-home moms. So
they don't. There are plenty of business women who have kids and then went on back to their careers, and their husbands are the ones who take care of the home and the kids. And like it's even if they do choose to have a child, it should never be their obligation or their duty to stay at home and take care of that child. Like they have a husband if they do have a husband, or a spouse, or whatever. And that should never fall on their shoulders if they don't want it to.
Exactly. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries.
Strongly agree.
Strongly agree. And making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity.
No, disagree.
I disagree strongly. So the establishment has been screwing us for years, folks.
It's not a sign of maturity to be complacent
with the status quo. Not good.
You gotta say no to the status quo.
I like that. It's a rhymer. Let's go to the next page. Okay, astrology accurately explains many things. I think we're going to be in 100% agreement on this page.
Yeah.
You cannot be moral without being religious.
Strongly disagree.
Me too. I'm not religious. I'm moral. And there are plenty of people, even religious people answer this question disagreeing with that because they know people who are not religious who are moral. You can be religious and be moral. You can be religious and be amoral. You can be irreligious. You can be not religious and be amoral. But you can also be, most people who are not religious are moral. Most people who are religious are moral. So most people are moral is my point.
I think, I was going to say, I think that's what you're trying to get at.
Yeah. Let's go to sharing the screen. Keeps beeping at me. Charity is better than Social Security as a means of helping the generally disadvantaged.
Disagree there. Strongly disagree.
Yeah. And some people are naturally unlucky.
Disagree.
I disagree with that because that gets into like, oh, there's nothing we could do. Oh, well, he was just going to die.
You have to resign yourself to it and not say no.
He was going to die to a healthcare problem anyway because he was just naturally unlucky. No, I don't agree with that. That's just bad.
Yeah.
It is important that my child's school instills religious values.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah. We don't even have to talk about
separation of church and state, people.
Me and you probably will agree with this 100%.
I hope so.
Too.
But it wouldn't be the.
But we haven't agreed 100% so far. And
we haven't. Strongly disagree.
Good. Oh, yeah. For this question, sex outside of marriage is usually immoral. Strongly disagree. As long as it's between consenting adults, for me, that's
I was going to say,
moral.
There's a consenting situation. There's really no way for that to be immoral as long as everyone's being safe.
Yeah. So let me go to share. And a same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption.
Strongly agree.
I strongly agree because and let's talk about this bullshit argument of oh, you need a mom and a dad because but that's been disproven. As long as there's two parents or however many parents, they're just as good. Because you wouldn't make that argument. Like, there's plenty of single mothers who raise kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why aren't you making the argument that you should take away kids from single mothers and single fathers if they need a mom and a dad? Like, that's not. Or if they're living with like their grandmother or something because they're orphaned, is that also immoral?
Yeah. So pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population.
Agree.
Yeah, me too. What goes on in the private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state.
Strongly agree.
No one can feel naturally homosexual.
Strongly disagree.
Because if you would ask like a heterosexual person, do you feel naturally heterosexual? They'd say, yeah. You'd ask a homosexual person, they'd say, yeah, I feel naturally homosexual. People feel their sexuality naturally. That's
literally how sexuality works.
Yeah.
I'm unnaturally homosexual, actually.
These days, openness about sex has gone too far.
Disagree strongly.
Yeah. Because in many places, people aren't talking about it enough, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Because in like
there's
religious
still conversations to be had. It's still too much of a taboo.
Yeah.
All right.
Now let's see where we stand.
I have a feeling I'm going to be less left than you just because some of them where you were strongly, I was not strongly.
Yeah, probably. We'll see though. So did you click it?
I did click it.
Let's scroll down. We're not going to read all this because it's boring. But basically, let's go with here.
Oh.
Now don't tell me until I see mine.
I will not. I'm keeping it.
Here's the social scale. So social scale, this is like gay rights, marijuana legalization, social issues. Economic scale, this is like the Karl Marx quote, taxes, stuff like that. And so let's see some people. So where would you expect Hitler to be?
Authoritarian, right?
He is. He's actually not too economically right though. But the problem with him is he's very fascist. So this is fascism up here, anarchism back here. Stalin is also a authoritarian,
but he's
less so than Hitler, but he's also a communist. This is Margaret Thatcher, Britain, I believe. This is Milton Friedman. Do you know who Milton Friedman is?
I do not. Tell me.
Libertarian, sort of economist guy. Viewed as viewed as an intellectual on the right.
I see.
He's very much laissez-faire kind of guy. He's in pretty much where I would expect where I would expect him.
Right.
Now there's one famous guy in the left libertarian where we are probably going to be,
and that's
Gandhi. And he's a good guy. Let's see.
Yeah, there you are.
There I am. Negative 8.88. I keep getting to negative 8.88.
Nice. I would have wanted that score. I love 8s.
Negative 9.03. So let me get a piece of paper. Or do you have a piece of paper?
Would you like me to show our viewers where I stand? Or not yet?
It won't work.
Okay.
You know why? Because the light, I've tried it before with you. The light, you can try.
Like this?
Go for it. Oh, that works. When you have it close enough. So what were your coordinates exactly?
My coordinates were, you can see right there, negative 7.75, is that? And 8.15. Negative 8.15 for the other one.
Cool. So let's... Give me a second. Jackie, entertain the crowd while I'm gone getting a piece
Oh boy, well, we hope that you're all having a nice day today. That's for sure. And maybe if you wanted to play along with this at home, you can, or take the test yourself. That would be at politicalcompass.org. If you'd like, leave a comment down in the comment section telling us what your score is and if you disagree or agree with us on some of our points. That might be a fun little thing at home. All right, you back?
Yeah, so that was Jackie trash talking me as always while my back is turned. No, but what was your coordinates?
My coordinates were economic negative 7.75.
7.75.
And then on the social scale, that is negative 8.15.
Okay, so mine is always negative. One time I took it and it was negative 9.13, but this time it was negative 8.88. And then I believe it was negative 9. Let's go to share screen. Negative 9.03.
Yeah, you're pretty far in the corner there.
Yeah. So let's go up all the way and go to tools and resources. Build your own chart. So this is Bobby.
Oh, crowd chart. I love it.
Yeah, this is cool. And then we'll compare ourselves to some figures. Name, Robert Foley. Economic. What? Negative 7 point. Wait, no, that's you.
That is me.
Negative 8.88. I swear it's always negative 8.88.
It's a good number.
So I'm consistent, I guess. Negative 9.03. Jackie. Did I write Bobby Foley?
You did.
No, I wrote Robert. Thank God.
Oh, there you go.
They changed it. I don't like how they changed it. They changed it so it would be on the left side and it would have like, or right side and it would have like a line. I don't like that.
Oh.
I don't like how they changed it. I know that's silly, but.
No, it's not.
Negative. People don't like change often. It's hard to adjust to change.
Oh, yeah. I've known a lot of people who have been very reticent to change.
We have a certain uncle like that.
We do.
Negative. Wait, no, not 8. I don't want you to be a fascist. Or not a fascist, a communist. I mean, like, people think that that's a communist, but actually it's just all the way to the left. But that would be like, I've not seen one politician from the United States in the red zone. Or in the, like, yeah. I've not seen one politician in the United States in the red zone. So negative 8.15. So you are just, let's zoom in.
Oh, yeah. Let's take a look.
You are just right there. You were pretty close.
One little square.
Here's where I was like a year ago. I was like right here. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I was like right there. Now I'm right here.
So it's your economics that have kind of shifted over the last year, you'd say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And my social, actually. So that's pretty cool.
Extent,
yeah. So let's compare us with the 2020 presidential candidates.
Yeah, let's go.
And then we'll
USA
wrap
is
it
right
up.
there.
Oh, okay. So here's our crowded field. Let's go to stop sharing.
Sanders is a lot higher than I expected him to be.
Yeah, he was actually right on the line a while ago. But we're going to be looking at Sanders, Yang. These are just some of my favorites.
Harris?
We're going to be looking at Harris because she's a VP and Biden because he's the nominee. Yep. Well, she's the VP nominee. You know what I mean? Fingers crossed that she will be the VP. Bernie Sanders is my guy. You guys all know that. But he actually is not as left-wing as I am. And we're also going to be looking at Marianne Williamson. She's in an interesting spot. You remember her, right?
I do.
She was kind of kooky. But some people like that. And then, we'll look at everyone, actually. And then we'll chart some of them on the chart. Yeah. Maybe. So.
Maybe our favorites.
Yeah. So here's Williamson right here. In the right. Yeah. So she's left-wing socially. So she's like a right-wing libertarian. Oh, there's Gabbard, Tulsi Gabbard, right where Sanders is. Howie Hawkins. Do you know who that is?
I don't. I was just going to ask who that was.
That's the Green Party candidate.
I see. Makes sense.
Here's Joe Jorgensen, the Libertarian candidate.
Ooh, Look at that. Right there.
All the way to the right. Socially Libertarian. Michael Bloomberg right here. Trump right here.
Ew. He's really up in the corner there.
Yeah. You know who Pinochet is?
No.
He's like this dictator from like the 80s or something. He's all the way in the corner right here on the map. So Sanders is like negative 1.5, negative 1.
There's your boy Yang. He's a
right winger. Yeah. Which is interesting because he has some pretty left wing ideas. But Sanders negative 1.5, negative 1. So that's not even that left wing. Like this is what pisses me off. People always say Biden. Oh, we haven't even looked at Biden, but we'll look at him in a minute. Oh, he's a radical leftist. People like right wingers say that. He's a radical leftist. No, he's not.
I'm more radical than he is. We're
both more radical. Of both of us, I'm the most radical. And compared to Sanders, I'm very left wing compared to him. Yeah. And they call him a radical leftist. I'm just like, you don't know your terminology. On the world scale, he's actually pretty moderate.
Yeah.
So
it's just that the U.S. has shifted so far to the right politically that anything left of that seems radical to them.
Here's another person they called a radical. This person right here. Why isn't that zooming in?
Where is it? Klobuchar?
No.
Oh, Warren. Yeah.
Yeah, they called Warren. Yeah.
She's pretty firmly in the middle.
Yeah, and she's actually on the right, according to this chart. Just barely.
Just barely.
So, W. $1.5. We're going to just chart our favorites. I'm also going to chart Jorgensen because I find her interesting. She's an interesting character. I think she's the first female nominee for the Libertarian Party, so yay. She's not going to win, though. I mean, neither is Hawkins, but...
No, none of those third-party candidates are going to win.
But, I would really like if Howie Hawkins was the president, oh, man. But just not a reality, you know?
Not yet.
Maybe someday. So let's go to Jay Jorgensen. So I'll just say Joe, because her name is Joe Jorgensen. 10, negative 3. Pence is all the way to the right.
Ooh, not surprised.
Trump, we're not going to...
He's right there, but we're not going to...
Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I know where he is. I know. He's negative... He's 8.8. He's not negative on anything, actually. 8.8.
That's funny. He's almost the opposite of you.
Yeah. He's 8.8, 8.8. And then what's one of your favorite guys or girls?
Let's take... Wait, we're taking Warren already, right?
Yeah.
Let's take Gabbard.
Okay, cool. Gabbard. You know what she ran on or no?
Yeah.
Like wars, basically. Mm-hmm. Negative, ending wars.
Yeah. Which you would agree with.
Yeah. I didn't think she had I don't think she was a good speaker, though. So... She wasn't as articulate as Bernie Sanders and stuff.
Yeah, but Sanders is really good with that. He's such a good speaker.
Yeah. Gabbard, negative. Oh yeah, she's in a really easy spot too. She's negative 1.5, negative 1.5.
Yep.
So let's chart all those compared to us. So this is, and we're not going to do Williamson, but it's interesting because she's in the. We got someone from almost everything. But again, I've never seen one. Why did it just turn?
Right over there. Yeah.
I've never seen one in the red zone ever. So let's go back to, and now let's chart everyone. Okay, it didn't save. Oh well. And then we'll be done, I promise.
Yeah, you're fine. This has been fun.
Yeah. What the? Wait. Wait, no. Whoops.
Nope.
That doesn't work.
The charm's the charm.
Negative 7.75. So this is why it's none of those Democrats were radical leftists. None of them were. Some of them quite the opposite. Add spot. So that's why because I'm actually like, me and you are actually sort of radicals. So
Yeah.
it just really
Radical club.
Yeah. Robert Foley. Negative 8.88 as always. Negative 9.03 at spot. Now let's go to Sanders. Negative 1.5. Negative 1. Let's go to Gabbard. Negative 1.5. Negative 1.5. Let's go to, what's T? Trump. Yeah, Trump. Trump. 8.8. 8.8.
Wow.
Oh, wait, no, it's not 8.8. It's 8.5. It's 8.5, 8.5. I'm stupid.
Ah, that's fine. It's close enough.
I'm going to remove him, actually.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
And we're going to remove him in November, too, hopefully. Anyway, Trump, I just got to do it really quick.
Yeah.
8.5. This will be more accurate. 0.5. All right. Now, the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, no. There's Warren, too.
Yeah.
So then we'll compare and we'll discuss.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Did you hear that?
I did. It was outside my apartment.
Yeah. Was that a car or?
Yeah, car horn.
Does that happen often or?
Yeah, you hear a lot of noise from the street over here.
Okay. And then our last one is our good friend, Joe Jorgensen. What is that? I don't care if is it spelled correctly?
Is it an EN at the end? Jorgensen, not Jorgensen.
I'll just say Joe because that's our first name. I'll just say Joe. Economic 10, negative 3.
Interesting.
Now let's discuss. So, who are we most diametrically opposed to?
Trump, absolutely.
For sure.
We're on opposite sides of the graph.
Almost the exact opposite. So, what does that mean? What does that mean for economics?
Economically, it means that he holds the opposite policies that we do, that he does want a completely free market with no regulations, that he puts the needs of big businesses above the needs of everyday American.
I'd say he's been doing that too.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd say he's been cutting corners, like this new recent like EPA thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's been cutting environmental corners, regulations, red tape. But it's not red tape. It's just, some of it's red tape, but not the things he's cutting.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about Sanders.
Yeah.
What do you think pushed him over the edge to be not as right wing or left wing as us?
That's a good question, actually, because I'm trying
to know
of his policies and which ones he would disagree with us on. Is he in agreement about like the whole marijuana thing?
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah. Not really sure, honestly, but I'm sure maybe he's not in agreement with the Karl Marx quote. A lot of leftists aren't.
Could be.
But Gabbard, pretty much in the same spot. Mm-hmm. Now Warren, also, I would lump him in almost with Bernie because she's pretty close. And then
close, but a little.
What about Joe? What do you think we'd agree with if we talked to Joe about?
Nothing. No, I'm joking. Probably some
social stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, that's pretty much it. Social stuff, but she is basically as far right as you can get.
Yeah.
You can economically,
yes.
So, this has been Foley 3.
Again,
this has
you
been
gotta get that
Robert Foley, Robert C. Foley,
Jacqueline E. Foley,
and this is the
Pink Thing.
See you guys next time. All right, so I'm gonna stop recording.